A visit to Ballygowan, the scene of the Lewis evictions, is recommended for those involved in local history, especially the period of the land wars. Approaching from the southern end, you leave Woodford and negotiate 1.5 miles along the main road leading to Loch Ray. Then, on your right, and having just passed the landlord Lewis estate, you find a narrow road veering to the right, which directs you to Ballygowan, the scene of the evictions of 1888. You proceed onwards for a half-mile until you come to another narrow road branching off to the right. This leads you to Upper Ballygowan, the scene of the said evictions. Ruins of the farmhouses are now in forestry lands, but are easily identifiable in village formation. Large gardens and narrow roads, some walls still retain their wall plates, whilst crumbling ruins denote cottages of lesser size. Oh, hurrah for the banner, it's waving there still, well guarded by Abbey and sweet Abbeyville. Colfin's lovely castle o'er the valley looks down, for to brighten the glories of sweet Ballygowan. A song which became extremely popular in post-eviction periods. It's attributed to Mr. Paddy Fell. The close of the 19th century was a busy and stressful time. Landlords and lady landlords, like Mrs. Hannah Luce of Ballygowan, in collusion with the ruling powers, crushed the aspirations of many a rural dweller. Increasing rents to an exorbitant price triggered much hardship and poverty. Landlords, like the Luces of Ballygowan, lacked a degree of consideration and insisted on getting 100% of the rental demand. Mrs. Hannah Luce of Ballygowan had refused to give abatements in the rent, and so the Land League held a monster meeting in the field opposite Ballygowan House on the Sunday before an attempt had been made to blow up the house. Part of the front wall was damaged, as recorded by the Irish Times, December 1885. The Crimes Act, which gave effect to anybody found guilty of intimidation, boycotting, unlawful assembly, resistance to evictions, could be sentenced to 6 months in prison. Landlords welcomed the act. The support of the authorities gave new courage to the landlord and continued demands of increased rents which the tenants were not prepared to pay. Previous to the evictions, efforts were made to effect an agreement between landlord Mrs. Hannah Luce and locals. The landlord demanded much more than the tenants would pay, and so negotiations had ended. As the landlord Mrs. Hannah Luce now enjoyed far-reaching powers, Ballygowan evictions were now carried out with greater efficiency. Details of the Ballygowan evictions includes an incident on Thomas Finn's farm. Here, a family member hid in the chimney of their home, so the eviction was illegal. A second attempt was made, yet the police and bailiffs failed to find him. So, a third day's search was ordered before the eviction was classified legal. The emergency men created havoc with dwellings and cowsheds. Houses were demolished as soon as the families were removed. There was little or no resistance here. Thomas Finn's mill came tumbling down. The offices ransacked by the emergency men, and on the following morning, the same emergency men used crowbars to take down his homestead. Homes belonging to Thomas Cohn and John Kelly and others were also put down. And so the loose evictions continued. Some tenants emigrated to America. Others came to some agreement with the landlord and were reinstated. The evicted records show that 4 tenants were evicted in March, 1 in June, 14 in July, 1 in September, and 7 in October, all in the year 1888. Here we have a list of those from Upper and Lower Ballygowan who were evicted. Tia Mara, Bridget Murphy, Thomas Morden, Michael Mulcairn, Pat Flynn, John Kelly, Thomas Finn, John Shaughnessy, John Burke, Pat Burke, John Minogue Sr., John Minogue Jr., Michael Dolan, Patrick McDonough, John Malloy, Martin Downey, Martin Mullen, and Martin Fahey. The National League came to the rescue, and land was acquired from Mr. Henry Burke. And finally, a word of encouragement. The Luces informed the Land Commission that it would not oppose the evicted tenants back to their lands again. So ends the story of Ballygowan, and it ends with a very happy and a joyous note. So we'll hoist the green banner and the shamrock we'll drown, and sing the bright praises of sweet Ballygowan.
All you loyal sons of Erin, I hope you'll draw near, for the rights and the wrongs of our country to hear. In the days that are past, when they drove us away from our dear home in Ireland, far over the sea. Oh, it's well I remember I was but a boy, to hear my poor mother, how sad she did cry, when her husband refused the rent to pay down, and evicted we were from sweet Ballygowan. Oh, hooray for our banner, it's waving there still, well guarded by Abbey and sweet Abbeyville. Colfin's lovely castle o'er the valley looks down, for to brighten the glories of sweet Ballygowan. On the day of the evictions some thousands were there, to conquer the tyrants each man did prepare. When the officer's bugle gave a loud shrill, for to make an attack on Thomas Finn's mill, the orange advanced for to break in the door, to take down the green flag representing our shore. We poured boiling water on the orange men down, they'll remember the day they saw Ballygowan. When the crew from the north were dejected, they said, they wired for the army to come to their aid. The soldiers obeyed at the word of command, and they marched in by Abbey to take up our land. They surrounded our village, we were forced to give in, and soon they made a prisoner of brave Thomas Finn. who fought for his country, his life he laid down, for to conquer the Lewis and sweet Ballygowan. John Burke and Mike Murray were evicted that day, likewise Pat McDonough, now cold in the clay. Our brave Toddy Mara, whose might did not fail, and our hero John Kelly was sent off to jail. Old Patsy Burke, now he gave great abuse to the rack-renting tyrant they called Harry Luce. John Minogue, James Gearden, their farms were laid down for to close the evictions of sweet Ballygowan. But now there's great changes over there I can see, by a letter that came o'er the water to me. As I read through the lines, it appears to be plain that we'll soon be home on our farms once again. The houses are building, I'm told they are grand, all waiting for me in my own native land. So we'll hoist the green banner and the shamrock we'll drown, and we'll sing the bright praises of sweet Ballygowan.